Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Colleen is a habitual liar and lives in a world of make-believe.
She lived in the woods because you say she wanted you to think she was dead.
I tried to get that guy to kill me.
I hired him to strangle me with the bedsheet.
Their sister's bizarre behavior.
She comes to you and says, get involved in my drama.
We can't sleep at night. We can't function.
Is tearing the family apart.
Mom thinks that you have cancer.
I lied for attention.
Why? Why would you do that?
Everything else is true.
I don't believe you.
I wash my hands of caring whether you all believe the rest
You
of that.
never did care.
How's your life working for you?
My life right now is working okay.
You're paying a guy to choke you to death in the woods. That's not working. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things. Stand by, Dr. Phil. I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction. In 5, 4. I am not giving up on you. Go, Dr. Phil. With Dorothy and Bob, a husband who claimed his wife, well, he just said this woman is delusional. She was constantly accusing him of having sex with Craigslist whores and even fathering a child with a woman from Russia. Here's a glimpse of Dorothy's personality. Take a look.
I'm convinced that my husband has been cheating on me. I believe he's meeting women online and trying to hide it from me.
And you said he's a sex addict.
I think he is, just not with me.
Your prostitutes are reality.
No, Dorothy, not.
Are you jumping to some conclusions here?
That's all she ever does is jump to conclusions.
He's telling me he's not cheating, but I see so much evidence that he is. This is the rental home right here. There was plywood up to the center windows. I took that down and left a note on the door. No whores allowed. This man has been torturing me for over a year.
You are out of your mind, you know that?
Okay, here's the deal. Anna Marie, that's this woman right here. She says when she saw Dorothy on the show, the first person that popped into her mind was her sister Colleen, who she claims does not have a good grasp on reality. So she made a desperate plea for my help. Now, Anne-Marie told us Colleen paid a homeless man $50 and gave him her cell phone if he would strangle her. Said she wanted to die. Then she said, you don't believe me? Call their other sister, Jackie, for more information. All right, this is Jackie. So my staff called Jackie, and this is what she told us.
Colleen disappears sometimes, and we can't find her for weeks, and it's a horrible thing. We, call around. We hire detectives to try to find her.
After we spoke to Jackie, she told us to call her brother-in-law, Dave, for more background information. So we do that. We call Dave. He says that Colleen has been draining the family dry for years. Now, when we heard all these accusations, we had to speak to the woman who is the source of all the controversy. So we did that. And that's Colleen.
This is what I called home for 2 weeks. I was drunk. Days would go by. When I actually sobered up, I thought I was only gone for a few days. I had actually been gone for almost 2 weeks.
So why is a mother camping out in the forest? Here's more of what her sisters have to say.
My sister Colleen is out of control. Colleen is a habitual liar and lives in a world of make-believe. Once she went missing for several days, and she came back with a story that was horrific, that she was drugged by a stranger, taken out to the woods to live, slept on cardboard boxes. She didn't know if she ate. She had no idea how many days she was gone. She alluded to the fact that she may have been molested or violated.
I feel that my sister Colleen is very delusional. If she's speaking to us and telling us things, it's most definitely a lie.
One time, Colleen claimed that she paid a homeless man $50 and gave him her cell phone to strangle her. Another time, Colleen claimed that she paid a drug addict money to overdose her on heroin. When my sister Colleen lies to me, I feel foolish and I feel angry because she lies to our whole family.
I think that she doesn't even know right from wrong anymore. Colleen was staying with me for a while, and she decided she was going to go to an AA meeting online. I found Colleen drinking beer, doing her online AA meeting. That was the final straw for us. We had to kick her out of the house.
In the last 5 months, Colleen has been pretty much in psychiatric units, emergency rooms, living on the street, or in and out of a sober living facility. If my sister Colleen doesn't change, she is going to be dead.
Okay, so the two of you are here because you care very much about your sister, right?
Yes.
And you're worried very much about your sister.
Yes.
Does she want you to be worried about her?
No.
Or she wants you to just leave her to hell alone?
She wants us to leave her alone.
Yeah.
Okay. So why not leave her alone?
She's draining us mentally, financially, physically. We don't sleep at night. We're constantly worried about her.
She came to us and said, I need help.
So she says, leave me alone,
But
yet she engages you.
That's correct.
Correct.
She comes to you
She
and says,
came to
get
us.
involved in my drama.
Correct.
So why is she doing all this?
Because she doesn't want to work. She doesn't want to be accountable. She doesn't want to be responsible. I don't think she knows the truth. I don't think she knows how to function.
Well, a lot of people don't want to work and be accountable, and they don't go live in the woods and have somebody choke them with a bedsheet.
Exactly. And she wants the attention.
Okay.
She wants the drama.
You think that she doesn't want to work or be accountable.
Correct.
So that's one thing. All right. And so she does all this to escape that.
Correct.
You think you're paying her off for this.
No, we're trying to help
No,
her.
I didn't ask you what you were trying to do. I'm just saying what is happening. I'm not saying why. It just is happening. You are paying her off for this. We'll get to that later. I have a list. Fess up.
Yes.
We'll
we're
get to
paying
that
her.
later.
Yeah, oh,
You're just
absolutely.
you're gonna
Yeah.
look really bad later if you don't just say yeah.
We are paying her off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer. You know it's true.
It is true.
Yeah.
Okay, I
It
got
is
like a
true.
3-page list of you paying her off, okay?
Yeah.
All right. And so the question is, why is she going this far? And how far is this far? You said she faked a heart attack at her daughter's graduation to get attention.
Yes.
So everybody took her eyes off her daughter, who had achieved something, and paid attention to her for a fake heart attack.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay? She lived in the woods with the homeless community for 2 weeks because you say she wanted you to think she was dead.
Yes.
Did she admit that, or is that
She
what
did
you...
not admit that to us.
That's just what you think.
Yes.
This is according to you.
Yes.
She has a
Yes.
different story, but okay. All right. So there were those two things. Then she paid the homeless man $50 and gave him her cell phone to strangle her.
Yes.
Yes.
And so she says he took a bed sheet, put it around her neck, choked her out. She passed out, but she woke up and he was still there, and so they hung out for a while.
And then she called me.
Oh, with the cell phone she gave him.
Yeah.
Okay. She got kicked out of school, but continued to get up and get dressed daily and pretended to go to class.
Yes.
Yes.
Disappeared 7 days, claimed a man on a bus drugged her.
Yes.
Yes. She said she'd been robbed. She had no ID. All her personal belongings were gone. She no longer had her cell phone, and that she was she didn't actually say, but she alluded that she'd been violated.
Tried to get a drug addict on the street to OD her on heroin.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you guys say she's never used heroin.
No.
Not to our
Not to
knowledge.
our knowledge.
Well, what's that? That doesn't mean she didn't get somebody to try to OD her.
Exactly.
Okay, which one of you walked in on her doing an AA meeting online, drinking a beer?
Exactly done.
That was you?
That was me too.
If even half of this is right, I have got to meet this woman. She's here. She's going to tell us the rest of the story after the break.
I was missing for 7 days, and that's when I ended up in the woods.
This is what I called home for 2 weeks.
My sisters, they've got to understand, even at my worst, this is my life.
And later, you're texting your daughter that you have cervical cancer.
Why do you do this to us?
One question at a time.
Oh, my God. I was sexually assaulted by a neighbor.
She said that she was at a wild party with a neighbor. They were skinny dipping, and she was raped. We, of course, rallied around her because I believe in Colleen's mind, she believes that that's what happened. But is that truth?
I'm not lying. If my family does not believe that I was sexually assaulted, I want absolutely nothing to do with any of them ever again in my life.
Well, Anne Marie and Jackie say their sister Colleen is delusional and lives in a world of make-believe where she gets drugged, lives in the woods, and hires people to kill her. But Colleen says her life is just perfectly normal, and her sisters have some nerve telling her that she not only has issues, but is also living in an altered state of reality.
I am not a liar and I'm not delusional. My relationship with my family is definitely strained. My sisters need to understand that we're all grown up now. They don't live around me. They don't know what my life's about. I am a recovering alcoholic who struggles with relapse. In May, I relapsed. I was missing for 7 days, and that's when I ended up in the woods.
This is what I called home for 2 weeks. There's a community of people that live here. I was drunk. Days would go by. When I actually sobered up, I thought I was only gone for a few days. I had actually been gone for almost 2 weeks.
When I sobered up, that was the day I decided I didn't want to be on this earth anymore. That's when I tried to get that guy to kill me. I hired him to strangle me with the bedsheet. I gave him my iPhone. I paid the $50. The gentleman choked me out. I didn't die, obviously, and he said he wouldn't do it again. Then the other guy I hired to kill me was going to shoot me with heroin to overdose me. He was going to do it, and I gave him money, and we partied. He just eventually said, I'm not doing it, and he wouldn't do it.
Behind me is where I used to stay with a couple. It was the gentleman that I hired to shoot me up with heroin. That's where we stayed for a couple nights. We'd cover ourselves up with rugs and get up early in the morning so you're not seen. And that was our home.
It's just a never-ending vicious cycle. If I could say something to my sisters, they've got to understand, even at my worst, this is my life. And they have theirs, and I want them to live it. They can believe what they want to believe. I'm not coming on this show to prove anything to them.
How's your life working for you?
My life right now is working okay. A lot of what they're talking about happened like in 2010. I have since gotten a lot better.
How do you think that this is working for you? That your life is okay? How can you say that this is okay? This is so not okay.
You said your life is working okay now. In 2010, it wasn't working too well, which was 4 years ago, but now it's working okay. But you said, like, 3 months ago, you were living in the woods trying to get people to kill you?
I was.
But that's not 2010. That's like 8 weeks ago.
And why is that okay for you? Why is that acceptable, Colleen?
Okay, let me say something to you here. And all I can do is say this. And God, hear this. Please hear this. This is your moment. We all come to different points in time in our life. We come to that precipice. We come to that threshold where we make decisions that matter. We make decisions that count. And if you choose this time to continue to deflect, obfuscate, spin, twist, instead of saying, hey, you know what? I'm in front of this guy right now, the guy that spent more time trying to figure me out, trying to invest in me than anybody else I've ever run across. What am I going to do with that moment? 8 weeks ago, you're paying a guy to choke you to death in the woods. So tell me the truth.
Colleen, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
Let her answer me. I just gave a hell of a 4th of July speech. This is not the Anne Marie show. I just gave a hell of a 4th of July speech to your sister.
Okay.
And then you just cut me off like I didn't say anything.
Okay. You're right. My life is not perfect right now.
In October, you paid the guy to overdose you with heroin.
Right.
And he didn't do it, right?
Correct.
He took the money instead and bought some chicken and y'all had a barbecue. You don't even hire good assassins.
I know. I know. As long as I stay on my medications and stay in sober living, I do well. It's when I'm left to my own device, when I think Colleen can figure it out, it all goes to hell.
Colleen, how many times have we been through that, too? You cannot do this on your own.
I know that my life is a wreck. I know that.
Let's take a quick break here. Colleen recently told her family she was diagnosed with cervical cancer and is undergoing chemotherapy treatment. But her sisters believe this is just another lie to get attention. So who lies about having cancer? We'll delve into more of this when we come back.
I feel like Colleen's lies have escalated beyond belief. Colleen had said that she has cervical cancer. She went as far as saying what stage of cancer it was and that she was being treated with radiation. We were wondering if that was just a ploy for attention because she has had a hysterectomy.
Like father.
We caught dog crushing and snorting pills in the bathroom.
Like daughter.
My daughter crushed the candy.
Who told you how to do that?
Daddy?
I would never teach that to a child.
Exes at war.
He says you are keeping his children from him.
Fighting each other.
He was kicked out after he threw me through the wall.
You pushed me, I pushed you back.
You grabbed my throat, and then I grabbed your throat.
I didn't grab your throat.
And fighting for custody.
You did coke while you were with her?
Yes, sir. After the kids were put to bed.
It all happens
What if this is a changing day in your life?
this February on Dr. Phil.
Anne-Marie and Jackie say they are sick and tired of their sister Colleen's constantly crying wolf. They claim she twists the truth by using extreme life hardships, such as eating chicken with a homeless man on the streets after allegedly asking him to kill her with an overdose of heroin. But Colleen says alcohol is the reason she does not always remember everything clearly, so she could be lying and not even know it. Now, her latest claim, cervical cancer. Now, I have here an exchange that you had with your daughter. You text her and say, okay, so it's stage 1B, so the treatment is removal, which will be same-day surgery, then radiation, both internal and external. Will I be allowed to be around the kids after I'm done? Your daughter says, well, did they say it's IB1 or IB2? You'll be allowed to round them after a few weeks. I may have the numbers mixed up, but I believe it's no sleeping in the same bed with anyone for 1 week, double flush toilet 1 week, no being around children for 3. That's good. I mean, not good, but better than IB2. You're texting your daughter that you have cervical cancer.
It's a flat-out lie.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I lied for attention.
Oh, my God.
That's a lie.
Well, thank you for admitting that, and I am so glad to hear that you don't.
How sad is it that we wish she had cancer more than she
Lies.
we wish that she wouldn't lie.
Well,
How can you
Colleen,
put kids
why
through
would
this?
you do that?
I did that. That was actually...
I mean, Mom thinks that you have cancer and you're lying to her, Colleen. What?
What's the reason? I'd like to know the reason.
Why do you do this to us?
One question at a time, and let me answer. That was the time. I did lie. I did. This was when I went and tried to have the gentleman overdose me with heroin. This was, yes, it was.
Okay, but tell me.
I don't know why. Attention, honestly. I think that I did that for attention. My daughters weren't talking to me.
But were you drunk? Were you sober?
That's what I'm saying. I was probably drunk.
But you've been doing so good, Colleen. It was 2010 when you were bad.
I think we've already established the fact that from 2010 till current, I'm still drinking periodically. I think at the last thing, we've already said I'm obviously not doing that well, Annie. So how many times do you want to keep saying this? Feel free to say it as much as can make you feel good.
When are you going to get it? How many times do we have to say it, Colleen?
But, so do you remember doing this?
No, but I did the next day. I saw it the next day.
You remember the next day?
Yeah.
Okay, but
and this, by the way, this was a month before the heroin thing.
I was probably still drunk.
You're clear that you're an alcoholic.
I am very much an alcoholic.
So you're taking your medication and then pouring alcohol on top of that.
Right. Well, what I do, I'm bipolar. And so what I do is when the medicine works the way it's supposed to work, I start to feel really good. And then I think, I don't need this. So I'm going to taper it off. You know, I'll take it today and then I won't take it tomorrow. You know, I'll save money or I'll save, you know, the pills until I really need them. And then I'm
that's when she gets them filled.
But you understand the counterintuitive nature of that. I take these pills and I feel really good, so I'll quit taking them. Well, why are you feeling really good? Well, because I'm taking the pills. So I'll quit taking the pills. And then I don't feel really good.
I know.
So I go fill it up again, and then I start taking them again until I start feeling really good, and then I stop taking them.
Yeah.
And at some point, you got to realize that there's a cause and effect relationship between building up your medication to what's called therapeutic levels in the blood-brain to the point that it builds up and stabilizes at a certain level. And then you maintain that, and so you have a level of emotional stability. And when you stop taking that, then you begin to erode those therapeutic levels, and your stability decays. Right. And when your stability decays, you start making really bad decisions.
Right. I have a huge hang-up with the fact that I have to take medicine for... huge hang-up with the fact that I have to take medicine for bipolar.
But wouldn't you rather swallow a pill than eat chicken with a failed assassin in the woods?
Obviously not.
I mean, no, seriously. I mean, it's
know.
like, okay, I can swallow this pill, or I can wind up in the woods eating chicken with a guy paid to kill me.
I know.
Quit asking us for money. If you want to live your own life, live your own life. But quit involving us.
Okay, but now, who's not being honest now? She tells us she's frustrated with you because you don't understand what it's like to live in the woods, because you have nice families and live in perfect little homes.
She has nice family too, Dr. Phil.
I have a wonderful
She's choosing this.
When did I ever tell you that you don't understand what it's like to live in the woods?
You called me on the phone and said that. Jackie, you do not understand. You called me and told me that. How would have I even known that you were in the woods?
You told us that.
I think you might be right, Jackie. I think I want to live my own life, and it might not be the best life, and it might not be the life you want for me, but it's got to be my life.
Okay, so then to that, I say to you, Colleen, is we quit asking us for money. Quit asking us to pay your phone bill. Quit asking us to pay for your rent. Quit asking us for money for food. If you want to live your own life, live your own life. If that's what you choose to do with your life, that's right. It's your life. But quit involving us.
Okay, but now who's not... Okay. All right, who's not being honest now? The truth here is we're playing a game of emotional extortion, right?
Yeah. Yes.
The truth is you say, okay, quit calling me, quit asking for stuff, quit doing this, and that'll fix everything, right? So then what you get is radio silence, and you spend the rest of your life pacing back and forth, wondering when the phone's going to ring and they're going to say, we found your sister's body in a bar ditch.
Oh, my God.
And then you're going to spend the rest of your life saying, well, I quit on my sister and they found her dead. What kind of bitch am I? Right? That's the emotional extortion, right?
Yes.
She holds you hostage.
Yes.
Just toss me aside. I'll go die, and you'll live with it for the rest of your
Dr.
life.
Phil, we go out to eat, and I'm sitting there eating, thinking, I wonder if Colleen got to eat today. You know what I mean? I wonder if that
Jackie,
money that
it
we
is not
wired
that
her.
bad.
Yes, it is that bad.
No, it's not.
And you
It's
can tell
worse.
yourself it's not that
It's
bad, but
worse.
it is that bad. It is exactly that bad. Who's going to tell Mom? Who's going to tell Mom that you're dead in a ditch? We are. We are. We're the ones who are going to have to pick her up.
It's not fair to anyone, and especially you.
There's no
Can't you
reason
see
for it. There's no reason for it. Why do you continually do this? And why do you have to lie?
And you believe
the
your
truth
lies.
cannot be any worse than the lies.
Listen, if I could take the fact that I lied about that cancer back, believe
Colleen,
me,
it's
Anne-Marie,
not just the cancer.
but you're wrong. And I'm looking you dead in the eyes, and I'm telling you right now, everything else is true. And I gave this to God because I don't care if you all believe me anymore on any of that.
I don't believe
I really
you.
do.
I don't believe
We
you.
don't believe a
I'm
word
putting
you
it right
say.
out there.
Not a
I
word.
don't believe you.
That's your choice.
Colleen,
I don't care
I had
what
to
you
find out
believe.
from the Dr. Phil show that maybe you're not in sober living. I just believe that. You just call me and say I'm in sober living.
We
You're
have
not.
nothing else to believe but what you say. That's it. I'm doing good, and then the next day you're
Seriously?
drunk?
I wash my hands of caring whether you all believe the rest of that stuff or
You
not.
never did care. You never did care what we believed. If you cared, would you be doing this? You know how we feel. You know we love you and that we want to make you better.
I've never said that you don't love me, and I love you.
Y'all just go right ahead. With all the unbelievable claims that Anne-Marie and Jackie say Colleen has made, why, oh, why do they continue to enable her by giving her money? Why do they continue to go find her jobs? Why do they continue to make it possible for her to live the very lifestyle they say is killing them? We're going to turn the spotlight over here when we come back.
Colleen has lived with my mother, and she was kicked out for drinking. She lived with her daughter, and she was kicked out for wrecking her vehicle and getting a DUI. She lived with my sister Jackie, and she was kicked out. And she lived with us, and she was kicked out. She lived with everyone in our family, and eventually wore out her welcome.
My sister-in-law, Colleen, is out of control. My wife, Anne-Marie, is consumed by Colleen's ailment, and I get mad because I hate to see my wife get hurt so bad and try so hard, and I don't feel that Colleen is trying near as hard as everybody else is to get better. I want my wife's health not to suffer, and it is suffering. She's at her wit's end, and I hate to see her that way.
Well, Anne-Marie's husband, Dave, who's right here, hello, Dave, he says his wife is constantly enabling her sister Colleen by paying her rent, buying her food, and even sending her $10,000 in the past 2 years to help Colleen while she continually makes bad decisions. You've watched these guys pay her off knowing, I mean, they have to know. They say they don't believe a word she says, but yet they continue to make it possible for her to do it.
We've had numerous discussions about continuing to enable Colleen.
It's very frustrating. You know, it's not just about Colleen. She has a very loving family. I've been part of this family since I started dating Anne-Marie back in 1981. Colleen was 11 years old. I've watched Colleen basically grow up. And she means a lot to me. She really does. But I can't stand by and let her destroy this family anymore. And that's what she's doing.
Here's the thing. You guys, and they've just got to be driving you nuts. I made a list. I said, you might as well fess up, because I made a list. You gave her $1,700 from Christmas Savings Fund. You've wired her $100 because she said she was robbed, $300 because she said her boss had a heart attack, didn't pay her. $600 for first and last month's rent, sent her to a sober living home after everybody had kicked her out, $400 to pay the sober living facility, another $400 after she gave $400 to somebody to kill her. Well, so you got to keep that fund full.
And an airplane ticket to get her to the sober living house. When she got off the airplane, she was drunk, so they didn't even take her.
Jackie, this is 2014 we're talking about. We're not
Wired $800 for transportation, rent, and food, $160 cell phone bill, gave entire savings of the $1,700. Jackie, you sent her $100 for food, rent, got her a job at a factory. She didn't show up. $100 for clothes, goodie bag. Even when you knew she didn't do what she said she was going to do, paid her cell phone bill. It just goes. It just goes on and on.
It's relentless.
But look, this comes down to the two words that I said. It's emotional extortion. It's like if she holds you hostage with her life, right?
Yes.
It's like you guys are going to feel so guilty. You're going to have to look your mother in the eye. All of that, so you're the guard dogs for your mother's broken heart if something happens to her daughter. That's the bottom line, right? That's her leverage. That's her hammer. And she knows it, and you know it. Everybody knows it. We just, don't talk about it till now, and I've given it a label. It's called emotional extortion. You essentially make all your decisions based on guilt, right?
Yes. Guilt and love, though, you know.
It's like something inside me has died, and I love them, and I'm grateful for them, but I'm okay without them.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. Do you believe that you have a mental illness?
Yes.
And that's nothing to be ashamed of. You diagnose it, you parse it out, and then you deal with it. And the problem is that mental illness can sometimes be what's called auto-exacerbating. It makes itself worse. And what you have to get a good prognosis is you have to have insight. And what you're showing are flashes of insight, flashes of understanding. Because what we're dealing with here is you say you've been diagnosed bipolar. Don't know if that's right or wrong. Haven't diagnosed you, haven't evaluated you. It would be unprofessional of me to render you a diagnosis, although I must say that would be on my short list of considerations if I was seeing you bipolar, because I think there are some depressive features here. I think there are some manic features here. I think there is some alcoholism here that's on top of it. So there's comorbidity. There's things existing. There is a dual diagnosis situation here. But the truth is, we have evidence-based therapies for these things. We have things that are known to work, both psychopharmacological and therapeutic, things that are known to work. But if you don't comply with them, it doesn't do any good.
Honestly, there's a total disconnect. That there is, not from you, but I mean, it's like something inside me has died, and there is a total disconnect. And I love them, and I'm grateful for them, but I'm okay without them. And I am okay if I die. And they have to, you got to get a grip on it, because that's my reality. You don't have to like it, but it's what it is.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I hate to burst your bubble, but see, the deal is we get to choose how we live, but we don't get to choose how we die or when we die.
No.
That's not our province. That's not our deal. We don't get to make that choice. So what you've got to do is get a strategy to live. Because it's not up to you to decide when you die or how you die. God's plan is not for you to go pick somebody to choke you with a bed sheet. That's not in the big plan. So you got to figure out how to live. And if it's with them, fine. If it's not, fine. But the thing you got to do is make the best of what you've got. You need a new strategy. You need a new strategy. Now, Anne Marie and Jackie both say they have an ultimatum for their sister.
I'm shocked.
We're going to find out what that is when we come back.
I am very angry with Colleen because there's no need for this. I am at my wit's end.
Colleen has burned every bridge, and the rest of us have done everything in our power, and we just can't do it anymore. I have an ultimatum for Colleen. If she doesn't get help, this is the last straw. I don't want to lose her. I want her to get better, but this is it.
Okay, so you two have an ultimatum?
We cannot do this anymore.
No, you're not, and yes, you can, but go ahead.
I want to be done, though.
I know,
want
but you aren't.
this
Go
to
ahead.
be over with. I want her to get the help she needs. It has to be over. We're losing our own lives. We're losing our own dignity. We're losing our own... We can't sleep at night. We can't function. We can't work. She's consuming me. And
Now is the time.
I can't do it.
It's now or never, Colleen. This is it. There's no more rabbits in the hat. There's no more money in the bank. There's no more
nothing.
fixes. It's true. You're
And
right.
it has to be over. It has to be over.
But that's not true.
I don't know, Dr. Phil. I
Oh,
really...
yes, you do. Yes, you do. You go home and you don't hear from her for 2 weeks, and your mother calls and says, "Where is she? You haven't talked to her. Oh, my God, you've got to find her." You're going to say, "Nope. Told Dr. Phil I was done." You want to find her, Mom? It's up to you. You just said what you wish was true.
That's true.
They do love you.
I know they do.
And you do love them.
I do.
You just don't want all this going on, even though you're the one that's perpetrated most of it that you're complaining about.
Absolutely.
What if this is a changing day in your life? What if this is the first link in the chain that puts you back to having some peace and joy and happiness in your life?
I think it'd be wonderful, and I'd be very blessed.
I mean, wouldn't that be great?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know. Hell, could happen, right?
It could. With you, anything I think can happen.
Yeah. And here's what I want to do. The first thing I want to do is send you to what I believe is the top diagnostic center in the country. It's the P&P Center in Dallas, Texas. And I want you to be evaluated biochemically, neurologically, hormonally, psychologically, and find out what's really happening, because I don't think that anybody has ever really figured out what's happening with you. And then based on that finding, I want to begin to build a treatment plan with you that very well might involve putting you into a genuine dual diagnosis treatment program. And if that's appropriate, then I would like to send you to Hannah's house on South Padre Island, which is, I believe, the best dual diagnosis treatment center in the country. And you said you want to have somebody that you can talk to anytime, any day, particularly if you get where you have questions. And one of the resources that we use here is My Own Doctor on Demand, where you can go on your smartphone with the Doctor on Demand app and be face-to-face with a board-certified doc in a matter of seconds. Mm-hmm. And I've just added psychological services to that, which means you can be face-to-face with your therapist from anywhere in the country in a matter of seconds when you need that, just by hitting a button, which means you're never alone. You can always reach out and find that person like that. What do you think about that?
I don't know.
What part do you not know?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Our gift to you.
Thank you.
Deal?
Yeah.
Deal? All right. Thank you very much. Let me take over. Y'all step back. All right. I want to thank all of my guests today. Log on to drphil.com and share your thoughts on our message boards. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter using hashtag Dr. Phil and hashtag Facts versus Reality. And if you want your own Doctor on Demand, you can download the app from Google Play or the App Store. We'll see you next time. So long. Thanks, guys.
Memories can kill ya, but I didn't hear ya. I thought that I could fly, but woke up on the asphalt. I swear there was the last stop. I've always been naive. Call it.
Every day and night, that's right.